السلام عليكم. أهلا بكم مشاهدينا الكرام، حلقة جديدة من كالتشيو تشات مع لاعب برز بشكل كبير في الملاعب الإنجليزية، لكنه اختار بعد عدة سنوات من الشهرة والمجد في أرسنال ومانشستر سيتي أن يلعب في فريق صغير مقارنة بالثنائي الإنجليزي الذي انضم إليه سابقا. لعب في بنفنتو معي باكاري سانيا. باكاري، السلام عليكم، اهلا وسهلا بك.
سلام اهلا بك.
So we're gonna start chatting about calcio, especially your experience in Italy. But I'd like to ask you, after all these long years of glory with Arsenal, with Manchester City, winning FA Cup, 2 times MVP, best player in the Premier League.
Yeah.
After that, you took the direction of a small club,
Benevento. Yes. It was my destiny, if I want to say that. I had a fantastic spell in UK. First of all, I was in Arsenal for 7 years. Then I joined Manchester City for 3 years. I had many offers, to be honest, when I left City. Somewhere in Turkey, Beşiktaş, Galatasaray was one of them. I had offers in UK, Brighton. I had offers with Leicester that came on the last day of the transfer window. But Leicester made me wait 8 hours on my sofa because we didn't agree on the specificity of the contract. There were too many clauses that I didn't like, and I asked them to change it. They pretended they will make an effort to change them, but they made me wait 8 hours on my sofa without coming back to me, which is a bit of disrespect. So the next few days, they got back to me and asking me to go and join the training session while they could find a solution. And I naturally refused because to me the lack of respect was present, and my own parents never disrespected me. So I would not take any disrespect from any club. It's not about pride, but I have life values that made me say no to a few clubs. So after that, AC Milan contacted me indirectly because AC Milan, yes.
Wow.
Because I don't know if you remember Andrea Conti, that was a transfer from Atalanta to AC Milan. He got cruciate ligament, and I think his agent or the agent of Vincenzo Montella contacted me directly and asked me if I was willing to work directly with him and eventually to move to AC Milan. And I never replied to him, to be honest.
Why?
Why? Because when I moved from Arsenal to City, some agents were involved in my transfer window, and it went wrong. They were not fully straight, and I could not just work with them because I didn't like the way we've been working when I transferred from Arsenal.
Can you explain for me and for the viewers this how it was, this kind of transaction of what happened exactly?
You know, the most important in football is to be crystal clear, and I asked them to be crystal clear with me, to make everything clear. And I realized after I signed at City that they were a bit dodgy. So I didn't like it at all. And he was also the one organizing a meeting with Inter Milan. I also met Inter Milan before I left Arsenal.
The 2 top clubs in Milano were interested to sign you.
Yes, I met with Piero Ausilio in London. So they came to me, and I met Eric Toir, that was the president back then, and he explained to me why and how.
The owner,
the owner, yes, sorry. And how he bought the club, and it was fascinating, you know. He was very, very humble, very nice to me, and actually he bought Inter Milan because he made a meeting while he was performing Umrah in Mecca. He wanted to buy a club, and twice in 2 days he saw the same person with the same shirt, Inter Milan shirt, while he was praying at Mecca. This is actually how he bought Inter Milan. But I almost signed in Milan, but the problem was family reason. I didn't want to shift my whole family to Italy.
Milan, okay.
Learning a new language. My kids were very young, and obviously the Premier League was back then, I think, one of the best league in the world. So I naturally stayed in UK, and I naturally moved to Manchester City. But During my move, I had issues with the agent. Some of them were really close to me, and obviously I'm not talking to them today, but that played also and had an impact in the choice I made when I left Man City. So I stayed without any club. I was training alone. I was fine with it. It was my choice. But then one day my friend and agent, new one, contacted me and told me Benevento wanted to meet me, and the president had 2 days off for me, and he wanted me to join and travel.
Honestly,
So
did you have any idea about where it exists, Benevento, geographically?
I didn't know. Honestly, I was like, "What do you mean Benevento?" So I checked the league, and I saw that they had like 4 points toward the end of season, middle of season in January, and I was like, and I remember my reaction. I told him, "Are you serious now? I'm from Man City, Arsenal, so why do you want me to join Benevento?" And he was like, "You know what? Out of respect for the president, you need to travel because he took 2 days off for you." And he had a point on this. So I naturally traveled to Benevento, and the Benevento is next to Napoli. So I ended up going to Napoli at 4 a.m. on the plane. I was in a plane. I was a bit lost because previously, one year ahead of this, I was playing the European Cup final. I was coming out from Man City, and suddenly I'm going to Benevento
With the national team.
with national team. Yes,
You lost the final against Portugal.
we lost the final against Portugal 1 year before this. So I'm in a plane at 5 a.m. wondering why and how I ended up going to Benevento. But I trust Allah, and I knew it was my destiny. It was Mektub. So I just went, and the first thing the president did was to hug me, as a dad. And I was like, why would he hug me? Like real hug, not hug and please to try to make me sign. But I felt his sincerity in me and having me around him. I spent 2 days in Benevento, and I was very pleased to see the atmosphere he created in Benevento, in Napoli. He created a fabulous training center where
Beautiful color of the team also.
beautiful,
The
honestly.
color of the shirts.
Everything was
Yeah.
nice, and I felt really good. To be honest, I felt amazing. I didn't know why. I could not explain why I felt this way, but I felt really, really good. And the way that he respected me a lot, also I value this. He was human with me. So the contract was on the table. I went back to London. And after 2 days, I asked my friend, what would you do if you were with me? I wanted to join, but I needed some comfort because I knew if I joined Benevento, I would put a cross on playing the World Cup in a way. And he told me, look, he respects you. He's the one that respected his word. The contract is on the table. You don't have anything to prove to anyone because you played the World Cup twice. You played in some of the biggest clubs in the world. So it's your own choice. If you feel good, take it. And I took it. I told him, okay, just call his daughter and agree. Tell him I'm going to join Benevento. But the craziest things happened in a split second because as soon as he spoke to them, they were really pleased and they even started crying because they were so happy. And I remember having my phone ringing 10 minutes later, like 2-3 times in a row. And I picked up the phone and it was Olympiacos.
Olympiacos Piraeus.
It was Olympiacos. So
The big club in Athens.
The big club in Athens, and they were playing Champions League. And suddenly they asked me to join the club in January, end of January, and they praised me as a club. Of course, everyone knows Olympiacos. They're telling me that they will play Champions League. They're telling me that eventually with them I will go back to national team and play the World Cup in Russia with France. But I refused.
You refused.
I refused
You wanted
the
to
offer.
stay at Benevento.
I told them it's too late. And they asked me why. And I told them I will join Benevento. And then they asked me if I signed already. I'd say no.
And they propose, of course, more money than Benevento because
Yeah, more. But
it's a rich club.
it's a rich club. They propose more money, but I already gave my word to the president. And of course, I knew I was not going to play the World Cup.
Do you remember
But the word is a
the
word.
salary they propose for you.
I
in
don't
Benevento?
remember exactly.
Because no, let's be clear.
Yeah.
Bakary Sania, one of the top players in Premier League, Arsenal,
Yeah.
one of the wealthiest club in the world, Man City, one of the wealthiest club in the world. So, of course, Bakary also one of the biggest salary in the Premier League as a defender, as a player. After all this, Benevento, you know.
No, it was actually a really good contract. But for me, it was not about money. I mean, I was lucky enough and blessed to make money before with Arsenal, playing national team with City. To me, it was someone that respected me at a period where everyone turned their back to me, and the president, honestly, if you have a chance to meet him, is in my heart. Really, he's a beautiful person.
Okay.
And a beautiful human being, and the way he treated the players was something special and amazing, and something you don't see in football, because football is a bit savage. So I really had
Football is a bit savage. Yeah?
It's savage, yes. I really have a beautiful connection with the president, his family, and for me it was a natural choice. To be honest, I felt good. I can't explain why, and it was my destiny, as I mentioned before, and I was really pleased and happy to go back into the roots, because it was going back to the roots.
Okay.
The facilities was not and very far away from what I had in Arsenal and Man City, but I was fine with it. The organization, same, but people were doing things with love, with the bottom of the heart, and most of them, they were benevolent. They were not even paid for doing this job and trying to help the team and set up a nice family around the club. And regarding the values of human being, I think it was a must.
Okay. The first contact with the coach at that time of Benevento, Roberto Di Zerbi,
Yes.
and tell me about the experience, the beginning of the experience. Roberto Di Zerbi, because at that time also he was, I will not say beginners, but a young coach.
Good, very good. The first time I met him was when I visited the team during the training session. Obviously, he walked to me at the end of the session, and he was very pleased, big smile, and he took me as a little brother, because the age gap is not so big. He's a football lover, you know. From the first minute, he asked me about City, about tactical session we were doing at City. We were like really having a French chat. It was not like a business chat or professional chat. He was really my friend while I was in Benevento, and he even asked me to join the office and talk football with him and talk tactics. He breathes football, honestly. When I see Pep Guardiola, I think if I had to take a coach and match a coach on Guardiola's behavior and tactical side and maybe the way he mentors players, it would be De Zerbi. And I had an interview with Gazzetta dello Sport, I remember, after 1 month, and they asked me what I was thinking about the coach. And I remember on the press saying that De Zerbi is a mini Pep, and all my friends in the team made fun of me. All the players, you know, they were thinking I was trying to be nice with the coach and try to overpraise him. But I was right, because now the world knows about his quality as a coach. The world recognizes him as one of the best coaches in the world. So I was honestly blessed to be able to train with him and at the same time exchange with him.
Maybe because you came at that time from Manchester City to Benevento, you went there as a superstar. So you know there.
Yeah, it was not easy for me to reach the little. It's a very small city, so I'm a very private person. I'm very quiet. I don't speak much. So walking on the street in Benevento was a bit strange, because everyone was looking at me, and I was almost not going out home. I used to live on top of one apartment where you had restaurants down the house. So time to time I used to go to the supermarket and I used to go and have a coffee. But for me, I was really the little celebrity of the city. So everything I was doing, people used to look at me with big eyes. And first, I needed to adapt. I was not really used to it because it was really much. And Italian people, they're very warm, you know, they're very touchy, and I was not used to it. But slowly it became my family, not only the club, but I really felt good. The only reason why I didn't stay, even if we went down in Serie B, because my family and my kids, they stayed in London because they were studying. It was the only reason why I didn't stay in Benevento. But I would have stayed, no problem, even in Serie B.
Benevento, Calcio, the Italian style after all that long years in Premier League, the aggressive and very physical football, very fast football. You find yourself in Italy, the land of tactique, the land of also fine technique. This change, I want to hear from you. How did you find the Italian style of football comparing to the very fast and aggressive Premier League style?
I would compare Italian football to the street football. Regarding the fans, as soon as we scored the goal, everyone was running to the pitch, you know? It was a family club, a family environment, so everyone was just jumping on the players, and I was like, what's this? You know, because in England it's very organized and no one can access the pitch. In Benevento, whenever we scored,
Everything is allowed.
everyone was exploding and everything was happening on the pitch. And it was like really, really going back into amateur football. People are really close on the players, and I loved it. Honestly, humanly, it's a beautiful experience. Honestly, I was amazed to see the passion of the Italian people, and I never had any problem with racism compared to what we're seeing sometimes now. Everyone gave me so much respect. Even when I was going to Napoli, people were really nice to me, and yeah, tactically, it was also a close football. You know, Premier League is very open. You have fast players, but in Italy, it's about the catenaccio, about working a lot tactically, more tactically than with the ball. So I needed to readapt to working differently, and yeah, it was nice. The team was really young. Most of the players were on loan from bigger club. Danilo Cataldi was one of them. The ex
Cataldi, now in Fiorentina.
Now Fiorentina, yes. He was at that time with Lazio Roma, Gym City, Atalanta
Gym City,
centre back.
yes.
He was with me also, and
Defender.
great talent.
Yeah.
They were launching their career, so now I'm pleased to see where they're standing now, because they were doing well. The only problem is, by the time they realized the club needed to recruit players, because they went back to back from Serie C to Serie A, to Serie A in 2 years, and they were not ready to cope with the pressure and organization. This is why until January they only have 4 points.
Okay.
But then they recruited many players: Sheikh Jabate, me, Guilherme Costas, one amazing Brazilian player.
Do you remember some big moments in Calcio that Bakkari Sania spent it in Italy?
Yes,
Special moment of
obviously we went to Inter. We played Inter Milan
San Siro?
in San Siro, and we had 65% possession of the ball with the Zerbi. We really outplayed them, and Inter was a big Inter with Mo Icardi, De Vrij, Milan Skriniar, Perisic was on my side. They really had Caramo was here, Cancelo also. It was a really, really strong team from Inter. But we outplayed them. We played one way, and even the fans at the end, they start clapping us because they were pleased with the football we developed, and everything was down to the Zerbi, of course. We beat AC Milan in San Siro also, 1-0, which was a historical moment for the club.
This is historical for you.
And that was beautiful moment. And moments you can't buy these moments, because when you see the president crying and when you see the emotion you manage to give to people, it's just, I have no words for this, honestly. And this is stuck in my head, and I even have goosebumps, because you can't understand this moment. And this is a real football, and I really enjoyed spending time at Benevento and discovering Italian football, because this is nice.
I just want to ask you about Roberto Di Zerbi, because nowadays he's one of the most demanded coaches in Europe, demanded by the biggest club. Now he's in Marseille, but we hear his name among many other big clubs. Even in Italy, we're going to talk about that. But he's praised for his possession-based attacking football. Tell me about this style of Di Zerbi, the 4-2-3-1, and starting the attack from the goalkeeper.
Well, he's someone that enjoy the players that take responsibilities. He wants the players to have the responsibilities. He wants the player to think ahead, to always trying to find the superiority on the pitch. And we were working a lot tactically. And I remember some of the training session went wrong because the players didn't show enough passion to him and didn't put enough effort during the training session. So he was just losing his head. I remember him walking with a ball sometimes under the arm and just losing it and just kicking it out of anger because the players were not showing love for the football and respect for the moment we got to spend together. And he's really passionate, and he wanted the players to be, and he wants the players to be passionate, to put love into asking the ball, into passing the ball, into scoring and celebrating. He really wants the players to realize we are blessed to be players, and it was not always the case at Benevento because the team was really young. So tactically, honestly, it was copy paste with Guardiola. I was amazed to see that a coach will have so much knowledge in football because everything was right, every single details, every single advice he was telling us was right. So
he's genius.
He's one of the best, honestly. He's one of the best coach in the world, by far. He's one of the best I had, actually. Tactically, he's really good. And when you see how he made Sassuolo played when he left to Sassuolo, I was not surprised. Everyone was surprised in discovering him. But it's not a surprise to see him doing what he did with Brighton and even now at Marseille. Marseille is a different environment because it's more than a club. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see him reaching high and managing one of the top clubs in the world very time soon, honestly.
Possession-based attacking football needs very fast right back right, and back left. So I think you represented a very good option to De Zerbi to play that way of football with Benevento.
You know, the funniest part is the same way Man City was adapting to the opponent team. We used to adapt also. So I give you an example. If the opposing team was playing with one striker, he will make us play in 4-4-2 because he will always have two centre back for the striker. At the minute the opposing team will be playing with two strikers, we will always play with one more superior player. So we will play in back three, and I will be one of the back three. So he was trying to make the other team very uncomfortable. And it's right, you need to adapt because every single team is different. Every single team is playing a different style of football. So you have to be able to adapt and attack the weaknesses of the team. And he was really good in identifying the weaknesses of the other team and opponents. And same as Guardiola, this is Guardiola also is one of the best. Before game, we should know and we will know which way we should go through, which side we should attack more, at which time we should press, which player we should press, which player will be more comfortable with the ball, and it was the same with De Zerbi. He will have identified everything, and we will have had to play one way to put the other team in trouble and put them in a difficult situation. But depending, we were playing 4-4-2 or 3-5-2. It was not a problem for us because we were working on the two different tactics.
Nowadays, in European football, especially in Italy, coaches prefer playing with 3-5-2. Even Antonio Conte, one of the best now with Napoli, started with the 3-4-3. Now he changed to 3-5-2. Of course, before Max Allegri is one of the fans of this 3-5-2. What can you say about this modulo preferred by the Italian and also in the world? For example, when we talk about Pep.
To be honest, Pep will adapt to the attack of the team he'll be facing. As I mentioned before, if the other team is attacking with two players, he will always play three. So it will play the 3 against 2. And the players, the centre back, they won't pass the ball on the side because the right back and the left back, they will be one-on-one with the wingers. He will ask to solve the problem in the middle and play the 3-5-2. And Italian football should be the same. I'm not a fan of just having one style of play. I don't like one team that stick to the formation. Or rather, it's 4-4-2 or 3-5-2. You have to be able to adapt depending on the team you're playing against. Everyone is different. Everyone is attacking differently. Everyone is having weaknesses also defensively. And the defense starts with the strikers. So why would you play with 3 centre-back if you only have 1 striker? For me, it doesn't make sense. But that's a choice. So, of course, Conte, we praise him for adapting well and understanding well the 3-5-2, but at the same time, he's having problems whenever it's about creating offensively and attacking maybe the opponent team. And this is probably why, at some point, Napoli has been struggling because they have not been able to bring enough bodies into the box. So I believe in modern football, you have to be able to adapt. It's about adaptation.
Even Gasperini now, who is doing an amazing job with Atalanta. After all these years in football, he's almost 66 years old, but he's adapting himself to new strategy, and sometimes he changed the model to 3-5-2. So what can you say about Gasperini and Atalanta and his adaptation to new things in football?
Well, Gasperini is also another big coach, very experienced. He's not only a coach, he's a manager. He managed to understand the players and build a group of players that can perform together. And this is Atalanta today. Probably not the best names on the paper sheet, but as a player and as a team, it's probably one of the hardest teams to play against. It's really difficult to score against Atalanta, and they have good players. Gasperini is smart enough to understand he needed to change and have an evolution in the approach of the game, and because football has changed, and football from today is not the football of back in the days, and you have to be able to understand the demand of the game and also the qualities of your own player. Some of the players maybe were stopped from playing fully to their potential, and Lookman is one of them. If Lookman stick to the old formation and not having the freedom he's having now, I'm not sure he'll be delivering as much as he's delivering now and so decisive. So Gasperini understands he needs to give him a bit more freedom. He understands he has to give up on asking him defending a bit more because he's a different player and different players need to have some freedom. So he's a smart coach and probably one of the best in the world also.
Antonio Conte, he built up a very good reputation in Premier League, Chelsea. He won the title. Also, he moved later on to Tottenham. Antonio Conte, he built up a reputation of winner. How do you see Conte with Napoli, this big club in south of Italy?
Well, obviously he's doing well. They are fighting for the title race. It was not easy for him because Napoli was not in the best shape possible. Napoli struggled in the past years after being champion. So getting back the team in shape and fighting again for the title is something really nice from him. It's a different environment. Napoli is a Marseille of Italy. You know, the people are very demanding and very close from the players. You need to understand the philosophy of the club also. It's not only about the players, but you're working with the old city. So sometimes you want to have some decision making, and also you need to understand the president. The president is fully part of the team. So the environment in which one is working every day must have been at some point difficult, but he's managed to bring the team together and fight for the title. So he's doing really well, and I think they will be contenders to fight until the end and maybe try to bring the Scudetto.
I'd like to ask you also about one of the pioneer of the 3-5-2 in Europe and Italy. Now he's leader in Italy, Simone Inzaghi, internazionale coach. How do you see l'Inter, the evolution of l'Inter with Simone Inzaghi?
Well, it's another coach that managed to bring one of the biggest clubs back to the best. Inter was always shining with Moratti, especially back in the days. They had big players, they had Mourinho as a coach, and they had a gap where they had to start again from the scratch, but he managed to bring some young players together. Bastoni is one of them. Barella today, that are really performing, and he managed to make the players shine again and get out the best of each players. And Çalhanoğlu, that was also doing well before, is exceeding and probably one of the best in the world at his own position. And this is the case at each position of the club, of the team. This is for me what amazed me the most, because the team, no matter who's playing, managed to play and be competitive. No matter who's playing, no matter who's starting, who will get to play. Even Arnautovic that is playing a bit more now, is having his word to say and even scoring and being decisive. So it's a philosophy they have at the club. The understanding is having with the board also is really important, with the società, as they call it in Italy. And he's a boss. He's the boss of the club, and he has a full backup from the board, which is really nice. The environment in which one is working is really nice, and every single player they will bring to the club is keen on performing also. So I assisted to the Champions League final in Turkey when they played
Manchester
City. And to me, I was amazed, because I never knew and I never expected Inter Milan to play so well.
Yes, they played very well.
So yeah, they
They
gave
were
some
close
stick to Man City.
to score, to win.
Yes, they
Lukaku,
were really close
you
to
remember
win.
Lukaku?
I remember.
Many occasions.
Honestly, I was very worried, because obviously I was supporting City.
Yes, of course.
But yeah, I was amazed by seeing the way they played, and it's a team I respect a lot. It's a coach I respect a lot for what he did and what he's doing on a daily, regular basis.
What happened to AC Milan? One of the most famous club in the world. Milan is living during all these years in a turmoil, bad results, high tension, training session, the feeling between the owners and the fans is not good. How can you describe this the situation?
Well, it's a difficult situation. They're having a big gap, and obviously I believe they will get back to the best, but they are having issues now to rebuild the club, to rebuild the team, to rebuild a strong team. They have young players that are starting that are not really performing at the minute. We expect more from them, of course, but it's not easy, because they're joining the club at the worst period of time, when everyone counts on them to build the club, but it takes time, It takes time. If you take the same problem of United at the minute, they are in a rebuild process, and Inter Milan had a gap when Moratti left also, and all the players left. They had a gap, but it took them a few years to get back into the best. So I'm not worried about AC Milan. It's one of the biggest clubs in Italy, in the world also. It's an institution. So, but then also when you have such a big president that is leaving the club, I think you need to start again from zero again, and it takes time. Football doesn't succeed. You can't succeed out of nowhere. You can't succeed overnight. You have to rebuild and build a family and a group of players that can last and play together for a long time.
What Milan needs to shine again? Coach, sports director, change the administration, the boards. In your opinion,
Stability.
Stability.
They need stability. The stability has not been present in the past years. I think, to me, Maldini, as a sport director, he was doing a fantastic coach, but it's a bit shaky around the team. So for the players to feel comfortable and and look forward to few years, good few years. You need to have stability at the club, and they changed too many times. Coach Pioli for me was doing a great job. I don't know why is it changing. That's another question. Of course, you're not champion or you're a bit struggling, but to me, he was doing better than the actual coach, and he was doing a good job. And he's Italian, and he understands the club also. It takes time. You can't expect him to go and be successful from the first minute. Sport directors change, the presidents change, everything is changing. So the other teams with stability are doing better than them. Bologna, they have stability, they got back into the best. Inter Milan doing well because they had stability in the club. AS Roma didn't have stability, they were struggling. So everything in football is about the stability you can bring to the club.
Another giant, Juventus. Comparing to Milan, is more stable with strong sport director Cristiano Giuntoli, also strong board, but this first season is not going that well and that successful, especially after being eliminated in Champions League, Coppa Italia, being beaten by Atalanta, the largest score at home, conceded at home by Juventus since 1967. How do you see the future of Juventus Torino?
Well, it's another team that is struggling at the minute. They had too many changes in the squad. The old generation of players, when Patrick Seva was there, when other players, Buffon, everyone is gone. So you can't expect, first of all, the new players to perform at the same level because they had some good few years at that time and reaching the Champions League final a few times and being successful in different competition. It's a new team, it's a young team. Most of the players are really young and starting, shining on the international scene also. So it takes time. It takes time. They need time to build up and get the confidence. Maybe not this year, but after 2 years, I think they can be one of the most successful team. But at the minute, it's too early, and changing coach also hasn't been easy for them. They changed coach a few times in 2-3 years. Lack of stability of the team, of the coaches around the team. So imagine from players starting with a coach and having to adapt to a new demand every 2 years. You can't build up on something solid. But I'm looking forward to see them shining again and get back into winning days because it's a big institution also.
You worked also with Joy Saputo, owner of Bologna and also owner of Montreal Impact. Tell me a few things about this personality who also put Bologna in the map of the biggest club in Europe, especially these years.
Well, I think he's close to the players. Joey Saputo is someone that loves football. It's a family business for him. He will never let go on Bologna and never Impact Montreal because he owns a franchise in MLS, so a franchise where I played. He's very close to the players. He used to come down in the dressing room after the games, especially when we lost, and have a words to the players. It's a passion for him. He really loves football. It's not about the money because he's very wealthy and he can assume buying players. So he has a long-term project and he's a football lover. His Italian blood reflects on his personality and the way and he's trying to build things is also nice. It was not easy for him when he came to Bologna because I remember some fans militating for him to leave and let go, but he has a long-term vision and I think he wants to build something really nice with Bologna and he's going to do it because Bologna is doing well, because Bologna has solid players also.
They will be qualified to play the Champions League next year too?
I think they will. They have a good team. They have good players. They have a good coach. They're doing well in the league. It's a consistent team also.
The competition is very tough with Juventus, with Atalanta, with Lazio, with Roma.
It's big competition, but those teams are not performing also. And you know how it is when smallest clubs play against Juve, the way they play is different. So it's actually better to be in Bologna's position because the approach of the game they will be facing will be different. Juve, Roma, Napoli, all those teams are a team to beat when they play smaller clubs. The clubs, they want to shine because they want to have a chance maybe to get scouted. So actually on the pitch, it's a big fight, and it's even harder for the biggest club.
The nearest club, the nearest team to win the Scudetto this year? Inter, Napoli, Atalanta, Juventus, in your opinion? Who will be the champion this year?
I think Inter. Inter has been champion already in the past few years. So they're probably the only team not to be under pressure, because if they ended up not being champion, it will be normal. The other teams are fighting really to be champion. Inter has been champion in a row for how long? And successful. They play with no pressure. When you see them playing the game, it's always the same pace, but they end up winning every time. So I think Inter has a good chance to win.
Last question before the quiz. There is another player full of potential, the Saudi international player, Saud Abdulhamid, who moved to AS Roma, but he didn't get the chance to play most of the time on the bench. What is your advice to Saud Abdulhamid? And can you see him winning a place in the first team this year or next season?
To be resilient, it takes a lot of time before you earn the trust from European coaches. Coming from Saudi, it's not easy for him because people don't value enough the Saudi league and the Arab world into football. So he started from far, but slowly. It's not a race. It's a marathon. So it's his first season at the club. It takes time. He needs to be patient, keep working really hard, because he has a lot of quality, especially going forward. And I believe he has what it takes to be successful in Europe. But he needs to be resilient. He needs to be patient. And
your advice to Saud to stay at Rome, or maybe changing area?
If I was him, I would stay. He will have this chance to play. And when he will have it, he will take it.
Many other players are queuing in that position, Bakkari.
I don't see, honestly, any other player better than him. Selic is not better than him.
Celik.
Celik is not better than him, in my opinion. And it takes one game. Football is really fast. It can overturn overnight. I don't wish anyone bad, but with one injury, the situation can change. And if he performs, he's been scoring in a cup when he played. So they got him for a reason, not for fun.
He should resist.
He should resist, and he should be patient and keep training hard. And I'm sure he's going training session with a smile. It's not easy situation for him because he's used to play also, especially when he was in Saudi. But this is what it takes to be part of the best team. No matter where you go, it's a competition. So be resilient, and he has all support from us, from this world, and he has my full support also.
Now, time for the quiz. Only Italian quiz. Right back. Bellanova Di Lorenzo.
Bellanova.
Bellanova Cambiaso.
Bellanova.
Oh, really? Bellanova Dumfries.
Dumfries.
Dumfries Kyle Walker.
Kyle Walker.
Kyle Walker Bakkari Sania.
Kyle Walker.
Bakkari Sania. It was my pleasure meeting with a big player, big personality, always full of energy, and full of values in this world of football, the football that we love.
شكرا لك. I speak a bit of Arabic. Huh?
No, let's speak Arabic.
شكرا لك.
أنا سعيد بتواجدي مع بكاري سانيا.
تشرفنا.
الإنسان الخلوق الطيب واللاعب الكبير.
شكرا شكرا. إن شاء الله next time
المرة القادمة
المرة القادمة نتكلم العربي
إن شاء الله.
أروح المدرسة لأتعلم العربي، ولكن صعب شوي. أريد أن أتعلم كلمات أكثر لأتكلم معك.
نعم.
ولأتكلم مع أشخاص بالعربية. أنا أحب الإمارات، هذا بيتي. وشكرا مشاهدين always دائما. إن شاء الله next time أتكلم كويس. تمام.
أنت تتكلم جيدا.
أنا لازم أتكلم كل يوم مع صاحبي.
نعم.
المشكلة أتكلم الإنجليزية وفرنسية كل يوم، هذا المشكلة كثير. شوي شوي
شوي شوي لكن تتكلم جيدا. شكرا.
شكرا.
إذا أعزائي المشاهدين، كانت هذه حلقة كالتشيو تشات مع باكاري سانيا، نجم السابق للكرة الإنجليزية وأيضا الإيطالية، تجربة مع بينيفينتو. شكرا على المتابعة، نلقاكم في مواعيد قادمة. إلى اللقاء.